protect each other's mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings.
Grand Rising, salutations, namaste, ashe, shalom, peace, peace, peace. Hey man, we've been doing this for a while, man, and it ain't changing. You know, it's getting better. You know, more people, better people. I'm checking on something real quick. 1 second. I think the last time I was on Ralph the Wise page, it got hit off. New strikes added. You received a new strike. New strike added. Of course. That's the thing about people targeting your page. They literally go on there and then like they check to see. Check the date. Okay. Okay, so it is the 16th. The 16th, we get that back. All right, no problem. What was we doing? Oh yeah. So like there's a lot of things going on, man. Why I set this up? Let me set this up. There's like so much going on in the world right now. Like I had to like just get on and just talk about some stuff because there's so much going on, you know.
Welcome to our team. What's it gonna be? I'm thinking we can serve your
Grand Rising, namaste, ashe, salutations, shalom, peace.
We can make it ice cold. We can put it in a shot. Or we can make it real bold. Oh, oh. Beef on top of beef. Oh, yes. Yes, it's getting messy. We having black tea. So won't you come and take a step? We serving black tea. But be careful not to slip. Black tea. Taste the drama real good. Do you want some black tea? In the YT neighborhood. Truth is moving on them streets. But it's caught between them lies. Who be grifting who?
You know, lately a nigga been fighting a whole lot of demons. A lot of shit we do gon' have consequences, but we gotta be ready for them. Emergency, I just got out of surgery. I'm having problems with my heart and it won't work. I did some shit in my past and it's cursing me. I'ma stay right here on this toxic, gonna take breath from me. I'm sipping his hand and eat this pain, but it ain't helping me. My little nigga going against the grain and that shit stressing me. I pray to God that God have mercy.
I'm living a crazy life. I just shot at a nigga from talking some shit on the game and paid the price.
I was young and the rest for the money, my hunger for paper
Saved my life.
That shit can say tonight.
If you wanna lick shit, we can get rip shit, we can get paid tonight. Go.
Dollar bill, y'all. Everybody want the money, everybody want this shit.
Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down, down, down.
Anything to get it, but when you gonna go out there? Shit, gotta think about it.
187.
Murder by
You killed a nigga, you don't know if you gon' go to heaven.
Gotta chalk that shit over, real talk.
Fight my demons, fight my demons. So many demons. Me against these demons. Against these demons. Fight my demons. Fight my demons. Fighting my.
It's me against these demons. Me against these demons.
Whoa! I'm fighting these demons up in the
I'm
ghost.
fighting these demons. I'm on the ropes. They
Hitting
get
the
with a
beam.
beam. My coat.
Get hitting the spleen.
You want the scope.
That money be clean. I'm looking so clean. I remember they laughed at me. Gave him the ball.
Nigga, they chose. Tables turn, that nigga, you roll. My little nigga don't follow no code. Follow no code. No code.
My niggas follow me like the Pope.
I stand on my word and stand by the consequence. They say I'm heartless.
Let me ask y'all, can y'all hear the? Can y'all even hear the music? Can y'all hear the music? Or is it not playing? I can't. I don't know if the sound is playing or not. Is it playing? Okay, the sound is playing. Okay. Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down, down, down.
Do anything to get it, but when you gonna go down? Shit, gotta think about it.
187.
Murder by
You killed the. You don't know if you gon' go to heaven.
Gotta chalk that shit over, dog. Real talk.
Fight my demons. So many demons.
Me against these
Demons, demons, demons. Hey, it's early, so my voice is still, you know. Fight my demons. Fight my demons.
It's me
GG.
against these demons.
Hey, we got to get the knowledge out the way before we can go and play, you know. So we got to get, you know, we got to get the knowledge and stuff out the way before we can start our day. So the best thing to do is just get the knowledge and stuff out early in the day, you know. Get the knowledge out early, right? Ooh, you want that on the screen. Grand rising to everybody that's out there, man. You know, great. Why is that screen like? Why is this coming up like this? That's crazy that that's coming up like that. It shouldn't be. I'm trying to that coming up like that. Why is it boxed off like that? Is it because I had the camera on? Is that why? Yeah, see. Crap. Like you already called it crap. So there's no possible way you're interested in any of this because you already deemed it to be crap. So we know you're not someone that's, you know, intrigued by knowledge. We're going to get into the as above, so below and speak about, you know, some of that stuff. Where does this concept come from? You would say, like, where does this, you know, idea? This is duality, you know, as above, so below, as without, so within. So you see this taking place in the world. You see a level of knowledge being pushed back into the world, and then you see, you know, the history of whatever it is that took place, you know, the history that took place, you know, Crawley Churchill, Hitler, so on and so forth. So we're going to get into that and talk about where this as above, so below comes from, right? And they talk about the as above, so below, but they never really tell you about the as without, so within. And this is probably what Christ meant when he said, if you teach me about the alpha, which is probably as above, so below, I'll teach you about the beta, which is as without, so within, right? So right now we are learning about the without that's within. So when I'm teaching you about the galaxies, the 88 constellations of the sky, and how our zodiac signs work, it's to explain the body, because these go with, universal laws, galactic laws, so on and so forth. So when you're talking about frequency, the light that's coming in from the sun, how it is, changing our chemical makeup, our body, so on and so forth. So once we get into all of this, this is where you will mainly see the changes right here with the history of Allison Crawley, right? The triggered events that took place. So we pointed out a lot of stuff over here on this page, the operation of people, how black magic work, how they manipulate your vessel to drop it to a low vibrational frequency so you can be more accessible to the fears and the phobias that they put on this plane, right? So we point out a lot of this stuff, going into um the other processes that they do, Armageddon uh process, this idea that meteors are coming, showers, so on and so forth. So we're going to get into some of that stuff. And once again, just it's all a journey. All of this is we're sharing a human experience. Remember, wise man once told me a long time ago, he said the Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. That's what the Bible stands for, basic instructions before leaving earth. But the Bible was more than that. At one time they wrote on, brick, they wrote on tombs, back in the Sumerian times, and then they started writing on paper, and so on and so forth. Well, God writes his books in the body of mankind, right? So the Bible is a body. It's a body because it's telling you how mankind should walk, how mankind should be, the reflection. We should eat healthy things, so on and so forth. But if you're caught up in the argument or whatever it is, you're not going to see the connection to all of it. Easily to be manipulated. Allison Crawley was manipulated, right, by different entities. These entities, you might want to call them grays, you might want to call them reptilians, you might want to put a title to them. That's on you. But we have to go back to a time of like 1904 for you to truly understand this. You can't imagine that time because you're in this time right now. You can't go back to 1904 because you're in this time right now. So we're going to get into this. It's going to be a great lesson. You're probably going to want to rewatch it, right? It's going to explain a lot. It's going to explain a lot. Okay. So let's get into this.
Reference from historical timeline trigger events.
I got
Aleister Crowley,
on
Black Magic Grids, Mainstream
talk
Satanism,
and
115 YA,
play this.
NAA alien abductee cooperates with Zeta infiltration of Earth grid networks, sets up satanic black magic, blood sacrifice, and portals that
One's in the
become
chat.
human
Like
energy
the live,
harvesting
share the
networks.
live. I need some activity. Let's go.
Enochian and Thoth Anunnaki Thelema language, OTO, 1. According to remote session intelligence collected in Guardian mentorship, Aleister Crowley is a key figure in cooperating with the NAA, starting from gray alien contact made in Cairo, Egypt in April 1904. They scribed and implanted him with Book of the Law, which is the central sacred text of Thelema, written down from dictation mostly by Aleister Crowley, although his wife, Rose Edith Crowley, and the entities themselves are known to have written phrases into the manuscript of the book after its dictation. 2. This contact began a lifelong series of interactions and collaboration with NAA to bring into physical manifestation satanic forces of the Black Sun program under the guise of representing themselves as holy guardian angels. They collaborated with Crowley, send him to various key locations of the Earth's power vortexes to open closed portals and assist in their patriarchal domination hijack of power grids of the Earth. This allowed the NAA another form of entry into the Earth through black magic grids through the consent and cooperation of a human body, namely Crowley himself. It is little understood today that Aleister Crowley was a negative extraterrestrial contactee and abductee. In ES Ascension terms, we refer to these power grids as the Thoth grids or Phoenix grid as well as black magic grids, and that Crowley is the alien contactee that served the Armageddon software timelines and was manipulated to enforce the black magician archetype for satanic forces to increase SRA on the Earth. Crowley's archetype is synonymous with black magician as his massive negative ego and sexual misery programming was exploited from his previous incarnation as a Solar Templar Lord in Atlantis. He was given the path to learn the tunnels of Typhon, which is the reverse Sephiroth path, or the black tree of life called the Qliphoth. The NAA was interested to control the Middle East completely, and used the area of original NAA
Now,
invasion to manipulate
let's
Crowley into
pause this
becoming their
real
poster
quick
boy
because
for
I want you
activating
guys
their
to
replicating
understand. I have to break this down. I have to break this down in layman's terms for you, right? Basically, what this is saying is through the study of chemicals in the body, through the study of how the body works, the structure of the body, through knowledge that was given in Egypt, so on and so forth, right? Crowley had understood something in mankind. He has understood how to create a false reality. And then by creating this false reality, this is where certain things come in. This is why the Diddy trial was important. The reason why the Diddy trial was important because it set a toll. It set a toll for us collectively. Like it's saying that as humans, we allow certain treatment for the manipulation of money, right? So if the price is right, you can do anything, right? And it shows that money is magic. It shows you money is black magic, right? It's an operation of it. When you go to like the black magic, black magician, so on and so forth, this is when you get into how to create this negative energy that was down here, right? And maybe the universe gave them permission to create this negative energy to see if we will be tempted. You know, mankind will be tempted, so far and so forth. And we're out of that time of temptation. We are out of that time of temptation now. So now that we're out of that time of temptation, they're trying to keep us in a certain state of being. And they know that that time is up. They know that we're supposed to be sovereign free, and that's free in your mind. That has nothing to do with the land, the laws that govern you down here, right? This is governed, this is sovereign free. This is the right to think, the freedom to, achieve variations of understanding, knowledge.
Since the Nephilim Wars, the Nibiru Anunnaki resistance and patriarchal Melchizedek factions decide to take over the inner Earth and start aggressive campaigns to take over the Earth territories 30,000 years ago. The Syrians warned them about the abuse of crystal technology in the Earth core, and these groups continue to force massive power generators into the Earth and crystal caverns. Several power generators exploded and ripped apart the surface continents of the Earth, more powerful than the previous cataclysm at the time of the Lemurian Holocaust, killing many humans again.
See? So this is why they talk about, this is why our continents are separated. This is why you see that the Earth looks like one big map. Like at one time, all of the continents was together. So when this manipulation took place, it ripped the continents apart, causing the separation that we have now with the 7 continents. At one point, according to the Pangea map or the map Tartarian map, if you go by, Russia, they say that the continents was all together at one point, and then it started drifting apart with the manipulation of the crystals and the grid that's up under the planet, so on and so forth, right?
The planet Earth tilted on its axis, which damaged all planetary gates, planetary grid networks, the portals and stargates on the planet.
See, a lot of people think that the fight in the Middle East is about oil, it's about this, it's about that. No, it's really about the stargates. And Lush. Lush in Muslim terms is considered to be a energy. So they create this Lush energy. When they found out how to install fear in the body, they realized that that fear came with an energy. And when you pump this energy into the grid, you can, these are secrets of the earth, if you would say. So when they found out secrets of the earth, it also revealed secrets of the body, right? Because your earth is your body. So one and two is the same. So when you find out how to manipulate the earth and inner earth, you also find out how to manipulate the vessel and the body, right? Just like if they was to find out how to manipulate the mind, they would gain access to the galaxy, right? You can't gain access to the galaxy because it's governed by a different system. This is where universal laws come in. Your mind is governed by universal laws. Your body is governed by marine laws and man's law, right? Stay with me.
The pyramids and ET technology disconnected and went offline. Flooding and cataclysm destroyed the Atlantean colonies and much of the Earth's surface. This timeline is also referred to as the Atlantean Flood. Egypt Stargate and Sun Takeover. Stargate takeover in Egypt, art by energetic synthesis. During the time that the Egypt pyramidal technology was rebuilt in the Giza Stargate in that location as the central mission control and ET interstellar port, Syrians and Procyon groups were in high security. The Nibiru Anunnaki resistance moved its last Atlantean colony to the Bermuda area of the 3D Stargate, and the Anunnaki resistance continued its conflict over territory and Earth dominion through war and genetic alteration of the DNA. Anunnaki and patriarchal Melchizedeks rapidly digressed their race and genetics through becoming a warring species like the Orion group. The Anunnaki planned takeover of all planet ET technology and to capture humans for genetic experiments to create a worker race 28,000 BC. Further, they negotiate with Orion group Draconians to share the spoils of war, of Earth takeover. This action is what allowed the Orion group and Draconians to get a deep foothold into the planet consciousness fields, and when severe genetic damage, such as DNA reversal pairs, to the planet and humanity really began.
All right. So a lot of people always talk about the Anunnakis and, the Anunnakis, Sumerian and going back. Like this goes back to Baal worshiping, Baal sons, the sons of Baal, so on and so forth. And this is where the Baphomet comes in. This is where Luciferian energy and satanic energy comes in. Both are the same type of energy. This is why you hear people like Orlando Brown say Lucifer is my father and Satan is my mother, so on and so forth, different things like that. Their mind has been warped, but they're still getting bits and pieces and fragments of these time vector codes, these time matrix codes. So they're speaking of it, because they know about. It's the same thing, when they start realizing like who Christ really is and Jesus and so on and so forth. So there's a conscious war going on right now. There's a war for your conscious right now. Some people have created a vessel where they have no conscious, where they have no inner dialect with themselves, so on and so forth. So they just exhibit human behavior, right? But a lot of vessels down here don't have a conscious in them. This is where they just mimic the behavior, right? So they don't have feelings and emotions, empathy, sympathy, empathy. Like they don't have these things, right? But they know how to pretend real well.
From ancient scriptures, these are a race of extraterrestrials from a planet called Nibiru. They are being depicted as gods or deities in ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt. From our energetic work, we can see them as part of the negative alien forces that have manipulated the human race for the last thousands of years and are still working on their negative agendas for human enslavement through mind control. They have their main control center in UK and are controlling many planetary grid networks on Earth, including the NRG. The Anunnaki are a root race that formed from the Sirian constellation evolution cycles and are a result of the reptilian hybridization with the Sirians. As such, Sirians have a genetic history and karmic relationship to the Anu, and many feel a responsibility to heal the Anunnaki manipulation and false king of tyranny control over the Earth. Anunnaki are majorly involved with the Drax, Orion group, in the cooperative control over earthly affairs, and their respective groups have made agreements on their jurisdiction and the demographic areas of where they exert control over the Earth grid system. Jehovian Anunnaki are responsible for promoting and transmitting fundamental religious mind control through Armageddon software, and use SRA methods to reinforce religious violence, patriarchal domination, and misogyny throughout the human masses. They were instrumental in establishing an intruder resistance, known as the NAA, to invite more negative aliens groups to stake their claim over the human population.
So
with the promise that
this is why you've seen a change. Now, time is not real. It doesn't exist, right? But this is why in 1995, you've seen a great change. And you'll notice change in music first. Sound will always change before the actions of mankind. So you've seen the music change, right? The music changed in around 1995, you know, when Biggie and Pac 96, 97, you've seen a great change in the music. Whereas though there was a more, you know, if you go back to like the party days, like it was like a more up tempo, flashlight, stoplight, neon light. Think about that. That album was, I mean, that cassette tape, because at the time it was tapes, right? That tape was 2 sides long, right? Back in 95, we used to have like block parties, you know, we used to gather, right? It didn't matter what was going on. The neighborhood would all meet. You know, springtime comes, a couple people will go cook at the park and give out free food, right? We had these moments back in the 90s. Everything started changing. And then early 2000 is when, you know, 99 was like around the time that Apple came out. You know, remember they came out with the computers, Applegate computers, so on and so forth. Around like 96, 95, they started, all this technology started coming out, right? And then later you had, you know, that's when the internet, social media, so on and so forth, all of this stuff, it played a great factor in people stop using universal knowledge, right? They started relying on fake intelligence. This is where artificial comes in. Artificial is fake, right? That means there's a real source of intelligence that they're not telling you about. So artificial intelligence is no more than an analyst of your brain, your real intelligence. So the AI is not doing nothing but mimicking intelligence. You can have the intelligence, the same intelligence that the AI got. You can have that intelligence. You have to wire your brain so you can always be in a journey for knowledge. See, a lot of people think 12 years, oh, I'm good. I got all the learning I need. I don't need no more. I'm grown. No, they had 40-year schools back in Egypt's times. Like, you know.
As a part of the human race and other ET races, we all have contributed and participated in several levels of this planetary experience via experiments in the development of human consciousness at various timelines and evolution cycles. In each time cycle, a level of root race, aka the 12 tribes, had a particular purpose in its exploration of consciousness and assembling a strand of DNA. Each worked in its own way with the genetic/DNA advancement of the human species and its relationship to the school of planet Earth. Each root race, as a collective, had a mission to assemble certain DNA strands and qualities. Each seeding mission programmed certain experiences.
Do you see what that's saying right there? It's telling you that the 12 tribes are root races that make up the DNA or the genetic code of mankind. So the 12 tribes is not a group of people down here on the planet. The 12 tribes is literally every strand of your DNA. So it's the first strand of DNA to the 12th strand of DNA. And Christ puts these strands together in the body. So Christ is a secretion in the body that locks all of these strands together or awaken all of these strands. That's why Christ put together the 12 tribes, the disciples, right? So the 12 tribes are root races that are to awaken inside of mankind. So there's a Joseph in all of us. There's a Peter in all of us. There's a Paul in all of us. There's a Mary in all of us. Mary is a representation of your sacral chakra, so on and so forth. So when you realize that these are the chakras of the body and the 12 tribes are a representation of these chakras, then you start putting them back together. When you realize that you're not one zodiac sign, but all 12 zodiac signs, then you'll start healing a little bit faster. When you realize that you're not just Aries with a little bit of Scorpion because that's your moon sign and your sun sign. Once you start realizing, hey, I'm all of these. The 12 tribes is the galactic energy that makes up carbon. Carbon is us. We're carbon. So these 12 tribes, zodiacs, whatever you want to call it, it makes up carbon. It makes up mankind. It makes up our material world. So when you realize that the 12 tribes is more, right? It's more.
Designed to
Let's go back up.
and each time
In
cycle,
each time cycle, a level of root races. Root races are inside the body, aka the 12 tribes.
Consciousness and assembling a strand of DNA. Each worked in its own way with the genetic/DNA advancement of the human species and its relationship to the school of planet Earth. Each root race, as a collective, had a mission to assemble certain DNA strands and qualities. Each seeding mission programmed certain experiences designed to clear various miasma
Listen to what it's saying.
karma, created from other timelines of genetic destruction. Within certain potential timeline cycles, humanity was being spiritually prepared to achieve greater and greater levels of enlightenment and ultimately become fully connected, powerful multidimensional God beings of crystal star design.
Knowledge.
The divine
people.
Birthright of the human angel was to play in the dualistic worlds of polarity, to experience the lower form worlds of creation, among a litany of other experiences as consciousness experiencing itself in a physical playground. Ultimately, we were to return to source and assume, with our new, multidimensional consciousness maturity, the stewardship of this planet into cosmic citizenship. As we integrate all these levels of the root races and their DNA genetic memories,
You see that? You see that? You hear what that's saying? I don't think you guys know what that is saying. It's literally saying that as we move up the levels, our root races. So it was never up to us at what timeline we were in. We could have been in a Job state timeline. We could have been in a Joseph state timeline. We could have been in a Peter, Paul, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. All of this is taking place inside the body. All of this whole story of Christ, the disciples, this is all taking place inside the vessels of mankind, right? Starting with the secretion. At the age of 13, man is able to have a, secretion of a semen, if you would say, right? But it's also connected to your hormonal energy. This is where hormones come from, right? This is frequency, right? So someone's broadcasting a low vibrational lust frequency where your hormones are supposed to actually rise, where you gain control of them. This is why Hercules holds the Draco constellation in the sky, or down here, he takes on Medusa, right? Because this is the serpent, right? So this is why Hercules holds that longest constellation in the sky. This is why at the tail or at the feet of Hercules, it connects. This is why Jacob is considered to be the heel catcher. This is why every zodiac is holding on to the heel of the next zodiac. This is why Achilles, or the movie of Achilles, the story of Achilles, is put in place, right? Because they're cutting off the Achilles tendon, the heel, right? Now, if each zodiac is connected to the next zodiac through the heel, then they cut off the heel by making us think that we are one zodiac sign. Do y'all understand what I just explained? Is everyone in the understanding of what I just explained? We are going through our Achilles heels by not remembering that we are all zodiac signs, right? So they cut us off at the heel by taking the truth out. You no longer know that Jacob's ladder is a representation of each zodiac sign holding on to the heel of the next zodiac sign, making our central sky, right? This knowledge is no longer provided to us. The connections of this knowledge is no longer provided to us.
Memories. We are called upon to become aware of these core fears and distortions that we are processing and healing. These core fears are implanted and anchored in the planetary grid network. Network in the cellular matrix memory of the planetary bodies. They are being processed through our own bioenergetic and physical selves as we grow through this current evolutionary process of ascension. 1. Biological evolution. As we transition from one root race to another, these species factors, such as the physiological functions of the human body, are rapidly responding to the massive alterations that are occurring in the Earth body. This means that the collective human blueprint and human bodies are responding to the impending biological evolution that is required as a result of the planet's structural shift. The current evolutionary pressures are causing energy to form, anomalies to occur, especially within many environmental and physical factors. This new consciousness platform requires specific physiological adaptations to the genetic changes that are occurring in the human race, in order to acclimate to the new set of conditions and energies that we are being further exposed to, as they are related to the human evolutionary process. Those awakening now are in the forefront of embodying these adaptations as they are the consciousness bridge spanning into the future birth cycle of the next root race of the human species. 2. References.
All right. So
March 2000.
basically, it's telling you right there that this is taking place inside the physiologically, this is taking place, right? And they told us this in around like 2020 or something like that, 2020. They told us this. They said that our DNA is changing, evolving, right? They even said that the sun was playing a factor in this. They sent, carbon into space to see how it would react to this new sun, so on and so forth, right? So they're monitoring the awakening of our DNA. Whether we want to believe it or not, they are monitoring the awakening of our DNA. Certain traits, certain, identities that are being reborn within inside of us. This is why, like, at some point you felt different. You felt different. At some point under the Aquarius sky, all of us consciously felt different. Like we wanted to do better. We wanted to be better, right? The world pressed upon us its duality of, not being better, right? This is why every year we make that resolution, to stop doing this or stop doing that or over this or over that, right? This is why. This is part of that.
The physiological adaptations that are influencing humanity are in response to the series of biological and spiritual evolutionary markers that are profoundly impacting the planetary architecture, planetary elementals, and the Earth element itself. The combined changes are further impacting the human phenotype as it has been documented within scientific consensus. The human race phenotype is a generalized expression of characteristics and traits influenced from the combination of the genetics, behavioral and environmental factors, as well as the variety of influences stemming from the collective consciousness. Science does not include the many factors of artificial intelligence, genetic modification, and mind control, playing a direct role in shaping and controlling the traits of the human phenotype. The human phenotype describes the physical characteristics and traits that define the species of human beings. As we transition from one root race to another, these species factors, such as the physiological functions of the human body, are rapidly responding to the massive alterations that are occurring in the Earth body. This means that the collective human blueprint and human bodies are responding to the impending biological evolution that is required as a result of the planet's structural shift. The current evolutionary pressures are causing energy to form, anomalies to occur, especially within many environmental and physical factors. This new consciousness platform requires specific physiological adaptations to the genetic changes that are occurring in the human race, in order to acclimate to the new set of conditions and energies that we are being further exposed to, as they are related to the human evolutionary process. Those awakening now are in the forefront of embodying these adaptations, as they are the consciousness bridge spanning into the future birth cycle of the next root race of the human species. For many multidimensional people on the path of ascension, how we connect into many levels of the consciousness structure has radically changed. Our light body is radically changing, and our physical body is undergoing a series of adaptations in order to meet the new energy requirements. Our previous ways of consciousness connection and communication are in fluctuation, while our light body is being reconfigured to accommodate the changing planetary architecture, solar architecture, and beyond.
So this is why the solar flares are taking place. This is why our body is going through a change. As a multidimensional person, I can tell you that our body is going through a change. We are trying to probably get our eating right. You probably don't have the taste for food anymore. You know, your digestive system's probably changing rapidly. You know, your weight is probably changing. You probably find yourself eating more fruits or vegetations, and less meats, right? Our body is going through this change to bring in this new form of consciousness, because right now not everybody is in a awakening path, right? They put a lot of false people out there, false awakeners, right? And I know this because I've been searching for other people who are enlightened, who are woke, who are trying to bridge the gap, who knows about, you know, the conscious of the collective, right? And there's not too many people out there. You have fake people out there, Jaguar Wrights, who sit there and act like she's doing a spiritual ascension assessment with people like, you know, whatever that horse lady name is, right? And she sat there on the Atwoods Network last December and made it seem like they knew about Atlantean bloodline. They knew about this stuff and that stuff, and how she's, I used to be called the daughter of Thanos and da 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 da. We should go back and watch that one day and point out all the infractions in it. But, you know, like for those who are in that, you know, enlightened path, that path of understanding that their light body is growing right now, right? This is where the multidimensional beings come in, right? That's why you have people like Ray J faking, you know, these are the shapeshifters of this reality. These are the shapeshifters. That's why their health is going, so on and so forth, because these are the chameleons. These are the real reptilians. Reptilian was never given to people because they look like reptilians. The title reptilians was given to them because of their attributes, their characteristic traits. They mimic other people. They try to be, you know, to fit in, to try to please everybody. So they try to fit into every category. That's a real definition of a reptile, a reptilian, right? So you're seeing these reptilian beings, right? But you're getting it confused because you're getting the carnal idea of reptilian and not the spiritual idea. Remember, none of these traits that you know of in the physical exist in other dimensions. So this idea that a reptilian has to look a certain way down here is asinine and redundant, because it's in the physical world. The 10% that you know, you create a image for stuff. In the other realities and the other dimensions, it's energies, it's frequencies, it's sound variations, so on and so forth. So the reptilian down here is in the traits, the actions of these characters, right? And you can see a lot of them down here now. But I want to tell you why, you know, the mental I want to tell you what makes me multidimensional, right? What makes me multidimensional, you'll see a lot of multidimensional characteristic traits when you become conscious, when you become aware of your mental mind, right? You have a spiritual mind and a mental mind. You have an emotional and an existential. Like, so these things, you will start to notice these things developing inside the body, right? And sometimes it comes with letting go the ego and the pride. A lot of people don't want to let go the ego and the pride. So it's hard for them to ascend within the knowledge and so on and so forth, right? So they trap you in building up the houses of ego. They make you build up your house, your own house of ego, pride, put you in trauma, so on and so forth, right? But I want to get into multidimensional and why, I am a multidimensional being, why these false people out here pretend to be what they are, why you have, people like Ray J talking about I'm a manifest sapien, I manifest this, da 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 da, because he's faking like he's a multi-dimensional being, but he's trying to use the collective of the people to manifest what he want in reality. You get what I'm saying? That's why he got on the internet. That's why he started saying all of these crazy things, doing the Orlando Brown thing, or what you would call the Jaguar Wright effect, because Orlando Brown Jaguar Wright didn't do nothing but steal Orlando's Brown method of madness, right? So Jaguar Wright is the female counterpart of Orlando Brown. They both share the same energy, right? To manipulate. They're agents of chaos. And you're going to see a lot more agents of chaos exposing themselves, Danny Robinson and the Avengers, agent of chaos. King World, agent of chaos. Trees, agent of chaos. You'll see these agents of chaos revealing themselves. Big homie CC, agent of chaos. Danat, agent of chaos. Maggie, agent of chaos. All of them are benefiting off of chaos. It's like, someone who manipulates war. They're gonna make money in the beginning of the war, and they're gonna make money in the end of the war. So they're always going to put people in conflict because they see the benefit in it, right? So when these agents of chaos, when you start paying them to go out there and tear other people's lives down, tear other people's truths down, so on and so forth, when you start paying them for that, they become an agent of chaos. They are hired to go out there and create chaos. They're not pushing out knowledge. You don't see them building a union. Jaguar Wright had ample amount of opportunities to put out music with that cruelty-free shit. If she learned the internet herself, or if she actually had Wolf Coochie doing technician shit instead of standing on the corner, right? Then she too would have been able to get a distro, put music out there of other people if she was really starting a cruelty-free music company, right? Then why doesn't she have a distro account in order to distribute music on platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, so on and so forth? We're moving into a digital age. We're moving where anybody that puts their self out there can actually get seen, found. Jaguar Wright is not trying to allow no one else to get seen or found because she wants to be seen and found. So she's not out there looking for the youth, the next great thing. She thinks she could do all the shit that an 18-year-old can do, smoking cigarettes and so on and so forth, right? She thinks she is the end all be all and everything else revolves around her. So there's no way she's putting together a cruelty-free nonprofit organization that's been running for over 3 years with nothing to show for it, right? That means she's using that, and that's illegal. Because whenever you have a nonprofit organization, 70% of the funds have to go back into the nonprofit organization. Let's see her books. Let's see if 70% of the funds that's coming in for cruelty free is going back into it. I bet you it's not, right? So that means her and the people around her is doing illegal stuff, right? Furthermore, she's not even supposed to be on YouTube. So the page that they're using for her to be on YouTube is fraudulent, right? The money scam that they're using with the PayPal and this whole text now number is a scam, is fraudulent. These are false lights. People use people like Jaguar Wright as a false light because people are drawn to her and she was easily manipulated, right? So she fell victim to the money, to the Patreon page, to the I can show you how to make 5,000 a month, so on and so forth. She fell victim to all of that, giving in to the rhetoric of the Atwoods Network to create controversy in the Black community, so on and so forth, because people are paying her to do that, right? Ain't no love or unity going to come out of that. Y'all are waiting for something that's never going to happen, because in order for her to get her funds, she got to keep putting y'all in fights with each other. And just like we said a year ago or 7 months ago, however long ago, we been knew that they were going to do this whole falling out with each other, where her and big homie CC go at each other. The next person, they all create controversy. You can go watch Kai Cenat's Streaming University and see the first rule of Streaming University: pick somebody, create a beef, controversy sells. That's the first rule of this bullshit that goes on online. And you got people reaching out to me talking about, hey, let's create a fake beef with each other so both our pages can grow. I'm not about to fuck up my spiritual energy creating beef with you so that way we can both say low vibrational shit to each other and tear each other down. I'm not doing that. So anybody that don't want to build in growth, true enlightenment, if you trying to trauma bond, this ain't the page for you. But if you really trying to grow within yourself and other people, I want my celebration to be your celebration. I don't want to no longer trauma bond. I just want to celebrate with people. If I got to walk away from people and go celebrate with somebody else, that's what I'm going to do, because I'm no longer into this whole trauma, and then live in that and start. It becomes you. That chaos becomes you. You got all these women out here playing Dandles in Distress, all these men out here trying to play hero. That's the shit that they playing on. That hero complex that's inside of us. You watched it take place with the whole farm situation. You know, they played on that.
Multidimensional orientation is recognizing where one is primarily orientated, situated, in our bodies, which helps us to communicate between those bodies and become more integrated between all of the multidimensional selves. Our inner child, when it has been traumatized, will generally orientate itself to feel safer in one of the bodies, while it closes other bodies down. This is known as the inner child-generated ego defense mechanisms of the ego/personality, and is a survival and coping mechanism humans use to deal with unresolved pain and suffering. When all of the layers of our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual intelligence are interconnected in ourself, it allows for greater inner harmony and inner balance. This brings improved self-awareness to personally develop the inner clarity required for increasing accurate and clear higher sensory perception, HSP, and expanding our consciousness spiritual bodies. Our goal is to integrate all aspects of our multidimensional
And I won't stop pushing this knowledge out. And I won't stop I won't stop pointing out these false lights. I think, the universe have gave me the ability to articulate certain things, right? Whether they want to push me into the algorithm, whether they want to push me out there or not, that's completely up to what they hold power over, right? They don't hold power over me as a sovereign free citizen, right? They don't hold power over me, because in my mind, I have the right to explore all avenues of my mind, right? According to the body, I have the right to every part of my body, including my mind, including my temple, including my heavens, right? So if there's something out there that belonged to me in the galaxy, I have the right to explore that. I have the right to claim that, right? So when you're looking at this, it's about inner growth. They can keep on denying my page. They can keep on trying to push my content out there. But guess what? The universe is hearing me. And through multiple, just pushing it, I know that eventually I'm going to be heard right now. Not everybody is going to want to hear me, but I need to get myself around enlightened people. I need to put myself around enlightened people. That's the only way my mind is going to advance, is to put myself around the next stage of evolution. I have to put myself around like-minded people. And the only way to do that is to step out there and constantly show the level of knowledge that I come with, what type of intelligence I have, right? I'm not trying to sit there and do that little argument stuff and look like the N word. Like that's what they want you to do. They want you to stay in that yo, 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 what's up, my ninja? Like, man, cut it out. That shit is played out.
Multidimensional orientation to unify with each other, communicate with each other, as all aspects of our light body need to be communicating to support consciousness expansion and spiritual ascension development. To succeed in opening all communication between the bodies,
They
we will need to
blocking
help the
me from
body
other
aspects to feel
people
completely safe and
like-minded
supported.
so I can ascend
This is a
properly.
part of the process of developing the right relationship to the self, to know thyself. Which bodies do you primarily energetically station within, identify with as a self, and which bodies are you neglecting? Where can you achieve better balance between all of your bodies for improved communication and integration of the selves? Ask to communicate with each of these bodies directly and to link all communication centers between these levels of intelligence. Maybe using a journal to open a dialogue between each of these bodies.
This is where
This is
emotional
communicating with the inner
intelligence
child
come
of the
in,
body, to access each other, asking each of the
learning
bodies to be
yourself.
open and communicative with all multidimensional aspects, while one assuredly places their intent, consent and authority of their bodies to be protected in Christ.
See?
1.
So you got to place your intent and your authority, your consent, right? See, people manipulate your consent. See, your intentions might be true, but once someone manipulate your consent, then your intentions start to shift, right? This is how people throw you off balance, right? Think about it. You tell yourself today, I'm going to be nice to everybody, right? And then you just go into a grocery store and somebody decide to give you all attitude, all nastiness, what you want, what you da 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 da, right? And they mess up your order, right? So whenever you start to try to be nicer, be this person that you know you want to be kind, be loving, the duality down here shows you something different. It makes you respond, forces you, right? And some people don't have the will to just keep on being kind, being nice, being generous. This is why I said, and you can go back into the history of this page, right? Even when the knot started his bullshit on the back end and the front end, I say, you continue to be you, and I'm going to continue to be. When Maggie started her bullshit, I told her, continue to be you, and I'm gonna continue to be me, right? Because in reality, you have to just be you. Just be you. Stop trying to be what other people want you to be, not your family, not nobody. This is stopping your growth, stopping your human experience, right? You have to be you, right? So when these things start to, this is like exercise. This is exercise. When these low vibrational entities come against you, so on and so forth, it's exercise. So sometimes you're going to feel this spirit inside of you. You're going to have this passion. You're going to have this drive. And then sometimes you're going to be like, man, where did it go? Where did that passion go? Where did it go? I was, so much good stuff was happening to me. What happened? What happened? Everything happens in wave. You know what I mean? Like Bruce Lee said, be water. Water can flow or water can crash. Be water, you know?
Keynotes, sensual and highly responsive to touch, taste and external stimulation. Enjoying the tasting of foods and other culinary sensations, food and drink, consumption, the smell of aromas and fragrances, physical affection or touch, like massage or body work, sexuality and physical fitness, such as sports, hiking and being in nature. When extreme external stimulus is required, it is usually an adrenaline response for the person to feel alive again and find the creative energies within. When out of balance, the person will seek adrenaline experiences to thrill themselves as means to find spiritual connection that is missing internally. Planetary enslavement has exacerbated this physical addiction to external stimuli as a severe imbalance or attachments in most people. Mental/social. Keynotes. Highly responsive to synergy of sharing and/or discovering mental and intellectual concepts, learning, discussions, and dialogues.
You see this?
May enjoy communication and the need to be heard. May enjoy receiving and giving feedback.
You see this?
May be a loner and isolated from the lack of emotional and spiritual development. When
This is
difficult relating
being
to
a
others harmoniously,
multidimensional
or
being.
desire communal and group setting for continual discussion with like minds. May be over-reliant on logic and linear proof to verify reality experiences that form mental and social belief systems. This body, when it is dominating the multidimensional orientation, will shut on the other bodies as if it's the boss. This is the negative ego, which is why one has to tell the ego/personality it is not being given authority over your consciousness bodies. One must shift their authority to the spiritual self, or Christos self. Emotional/instinctual. Keynotes. Responsive to the waves and sensations of the emotional bodies, in its lower form, otherwise known as the pain body, which stimulates the 2D instinctual body. This instinctual body is a lower vibration of the emotional sensory experience. The instinctual mind body is not a real emotional body. It's drawn from desires and addictions created from emotional body and soul body damage. The instinctual body operates in astral plane delusions and fantasies. The instinctual body will influence or block higher sensory perception when excessive fear is operating in the person. The higher emotional body is the heart chakra and higher vibrational sensory experiences. The real emotional body connects to a force of pure love, and this love can be felt and experienced as a force that pervades the senses and not something that is activated through an object of desire. Highly responsive to sounds, tones, and music. Spiritual/energetic.
See that? See, this is why I keep on coming out here trying to push out knowledge, trying to find like-minded people who's trying to grow in that, people that's trying to build in that. I know there's only 24 hours in a day. I know that your physical world keeps you busy. I know that you don't have time for this, so on and so forth. That's what the fear in you is saying. That's what at one point, the same thing was happening to me. The fear in all of this stuff, it was happening to me the same way. I was like, man, right? So I had to get over certain things in order to stand in this level of consciousness. A lot of people was tearing down the stuff that I was studying, me going back into history, first century, so on and so forth, right? Digging into the constellations, digging into the DNA and, the 44, all of this stuff, right? People were like, man, you ain't digging into that, blah, 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 right? But I knew that there was something telling me, like, this is what you have to learn. This is what you have to dig into. If you want to learn, or if you want the ability to articulate this to other people, if you want the ability to be able to explain this to other people, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, omni-loving, right? So it's like this is what it was telling me, right? And I kept on trying to be like, nah, the world don't want it like that. I kept on trying to be the world. You guys want chaos. You guys want friction. You guys want me to keep on going out there arguing and fighting with other people, right? And I said, okay, I'm gonna do it my way, with laughter, right? And we did that, right? We literally changed up the whole algorithm. People still making cartoons right now, so on and so forth. So we did that. We still showing people a better way of doing it that's not getting their feelings and emotions. See, they don't like me because I show you how to protect your feelings and emotions from other people. See, they want to manipulate your feelings and emotions. They want to take their character that they're playing on the internet, and they want you to put your feelings and emotions all into that character, right? When they know that their reality doesn't match that character, and they know that this is just a character. Some of them will tell you, like, listen, this is just somebody I play online, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, right? In reality, they might be a monster. But on here, they show you loving and this, that, and the third. See the difference with them and the Atlas Network and us over here is we really walk in the light of what we say. So when we say we're going out to build homesteads, when we say we're going out to try to do this, we're really in the physical world going out doing that, right? A lot of people are going to give you that false. They're going to give you that false. They're going to make you think that they're this person that wants to so on and so forth and so on and so, and they're not. And they are not, you know? So we're just going to keep on pushing out knowledge, wisdom, and the highest level of understanding, right? And we're going to find that co-host. We're going to find a co-host or a page to co-host on.
Omnilove 3. Keynotes. Responsive to the quality of energies, environmental forces, and the world of energetic frequencies. Innate awareness of energy both in the self and the environment. Many of us orientated here have an inherent comprehension FO, the law of vibration. When sensitive to energies, one will be more sensitive and empathic to others, because the feeling of another is apparent when energetic awareness is a part of the sensory perception experience. Attunement to energies allows better self-awareness through the responsiveness of how one's personal energies impact others and the environment. When we are self-aware, we are aware of our sphere of influence, what our energies, thoughts, and emotions have as a consequence on others. When sensitive to energies and intelligent fields, one organically wants to be harmless to life, harmless to others, and seeks benevolence and peace. This is the understanding of the Golden Rule. To treat others how you would like to be treated, as it is recognized and revealed that we are all connected. C. World Humanism.
See? Treat others. I keep saying this, and people keep wondering why I keep dealing with people with kindness. You know what I mean? People keep wondering why I keep on dealing with people with love. People keep wondering why I keep on being forgiven. People keep wondering why I keep on giving people chances. People keep wondering why, because I have to push through it. I have to continue to be of kindness. A lot of people in this world, they want you to show an act of something else so they can justify whatever bull crap that they're coming with.
Becoming conscious. Most people are confused about their thought impulses and where they are sourcing from. Is this thought coming from my ego, a ego/personality program that I inherited, or is this thought coming as direction from my higher self? With technological mind control being used on the masses, this has an experience of thought pushing or superimposition of thought forms, when we become self-aware and then can discern the collective energies in the environment. One of the challenges with manifestation at this time is that one will not manifest personal wishes stemming from ego-based desires, as they did previously. The laws governing energy are changing, and we must be pushed to connect to our higher intelligence of our spirit. Until one has clarity about the inner contents of one's heart, one's core, and spiritual purpose, one feels confused and unclear. This connection to the inner spiritual core brings the self-awareness, which one then experiences the clarity and connection to feel and know who they really are. When we commit to service to others, our path is revealed to our heart and we are served in the highest expression of who we really are. Confusion blocks HSP. Otherwise, when a person is confused, one is not congruent with oneself and will continually experience life patterns of repeated karmic imbalances and pain. Living in the repeated cycles of karmic, energetic imbalances make one feel very unhappy and chaotic inside. Intense chaos inside oneself is a type of internal violence which, if not corrected, will manifest itself eventually as external violence. This is why the goal of achieving inner peace and inner balance is so critical at this time on planet Earth. Learning how to communicate with the internal feeling and sensory language of our spirit will require some attention and discipline. As we learn to communicate with spiritual language, that language is commonly called higher sensory perception, or HSP. This is very key to understand that one will not manifest things in the material world that will block or create obstacles in one's spiritual growth and expansion. This is why so many people are being dismantled from their old system of beliefs and behavior at this time, to find the courage from their inner spirit that moves them into the new paradigm of self-awareness and the new era of consciousness. This is why one must move out the obstacles and mind control that get in the way and prevent one from connecting and communicating directly with one's inner spirit. So getting into alignment with one's inner core, heart, and spirit is critical for accurate outward manifestations. Otherwise, you are creating recurring energetic loads known as karma, which is the law of cause and effect. We are all responsible for the direction of our consciousness. We are all responsible for where we place our attention, our focus, and emotions in our everyday life. This is our job. As we become more conscious and aware, we choose to focus ourselves with responsibility, and this becomes a part of the mastery of learning inner sustainability. See Relationship Mastery Guidelines. Inner sustainability is the state of inner sustenance, not needing anything outside yourself to be something that it is not, otherwise known as the ego defense mechanism of projection. As you transition in personal evolution to become more centered, more balanced, one moves into greater levels of embodiment with their inner spiritual core. One will start to feel and notice that your external life will start to rearrange itself. All changes in the external world begin within and inside ourselves. In the beginning stages, it may feel scary as things in your life start to fall away and move away. This is where courage is required to understand your life is being dismantled from its falsity and being aligned to greater levels of truth and congruency with your inner spiritual core. One's life will begin to rearrange when connected to one's spirit that will start to accommodate one's joy, peace, and abundance in ways that the mind has no way to fathom.
So this is part of that. Like, some people will try to find you, put you in low vibration, so on and so forth, right? But you're going to, like, when you're on your path, when you're on your path of spiritual enlightenment, however you want to look at it, right? You're going to push past a lot of this. You know what I mean? You're going to push past a lot of these levels of manipulation. You're going to push past a lot of these different variations of of other personas of you, right? These people are going to come into your existence, you know, in the forms of Jaguar rights. When I was on TikTok, there were so many different forms of myself that was like trying to determine that knowledge and wisdom and the moon stars and quasars that I was talking about was poppycock and this, that, and the third. But come to find out, here we are. You know what I mean? Here we are, right? So when you're looking at different variations of things, right, you have to realize that it's the control, the psych emotional center, right? So you want to stay centered in their spiritual self, right? You want to stay balanced, right? Have integrity, self-love, oneness, right? Compassion, faith, forgiveness, right? Cooperation. This is why I keep on trying to find other like-minded people, so on and so forth, right? I'm not trying to compromise a lot of this spiritual stuff, but I'm trying to find cooperation, right? The unity, right? Harmony, right? Non-judgment, right? Self-mastering, unconditional love. These are the things that center you, right? This is going to block you from that superior thinking that you see. You might call it like an echo chamber or whatever. You see a lot of these people boxing together. Stay outside the box. You see a lot of these people putting themselves in boxes, you know, with religion, different variations of things. The inferior victim thinking, right? So you have people out here that will forever play victim. They'll try to put you in situations, compromise situations, and then they're going to play the victim, right? Reforce mind into neutral. So a lot of people try to put you like reset, stop doing this, reset. They want you to reset. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful for those who try to force you to reset when you're building self growth, you know, self awareness, discernment, spiritual growth, so on and so forth. So we fell off the beaten path, you know, we got tripped up and shit, you know what I mean? So on and so forth, you know.
The above is a graph of a psychological centering model to use to better gauge thoughts that are recurring in either polarity. The two main polarity groups the brain likes to occupy itself with are superior or inferior thoughts. Developing self-awareness does not happen just through reading books or mental concepts. It is through specific activities and feeling experiences that we are able to increase our power of observation. It is the power of observation or witnessing that gives us the personal power to change our core beliefs, when we are made aware of them, that may be destructive or create blockages to connect with our inner spirit. How do your thoughts and words impact how you feel? How do your instinctual desires unconsciously drive your behaviors? How do hidden core beliefs affect your day-to-day happiness? Do an inventory of personal thoughts and identify them as inferior or superior, or as love thoughts or fear thoughts. Make a choice right now which thoughts you want to own and those you want to discard. As a goal, use the bottom spiritual self-centering model to keep your mind balanced and stay in centered, loving, and neutral thoughts. How long can you stay there in the center? Make it a goal to improve your ability to stay within the essence and energy of the keywords that maintain your spiritual center. Bring yourself back to center with breath, and applying neutral association or observer point to circumstances when you fall out of inner balance. 2. Superior thinking, intolerance, impatience, arrogance, manipulation, attack, anger, judgmental thinking. Inferior thinking, worry, low self-love or esteem, jealousy, guilt, hurt, fear, attachment, martyrdom.
So you'll see a lot of people trying to put you in these superior ways of thinking or inferior ways of thinking, right? So you see a lot of people playing on arrogance, playing on impatience, playing on, variations of manipulation, attack, anger, judgmental way of thinking. They'll try to place these things inside of you too, like you judgmental, so on and so forth, or inferior, worry, doubt, your self-esteem, jealous, ego, hurt, use different things to try to bind you, trauma, so on and so forth. So you have to build self-esteem, right? So you have to build self-esteem in order to find that love within inside yourself, So this is where like your inner confidence comes in at, right? This is why, like, when I look back at my 8, 8 different group homes that I've been to, right? When I look back at that, I say, man, I'm grateful for those group homes because we had to have, like, every day we had to have talks, you know what I mean? Like, all gather together and talk. Like, and I don't think like I'll have the abilities that I have if I didn't have that experience of where like we had to talk about feelings and emotions and things that other people don't want to talk about. Like, we sat down one time and had a whole conversation of the proper way to wipe your butt, right? And I was shocked and surprised at how many people didn't even know the proper way to wipe their butt. And if we did a survey today, we would probably find out that adults in this world still don't know how to wipe their own ass, So we can't expect them to clean up the world if they can't even, wipe their ass correctly. You get what I'm saying? They ain't wipe their ass,
Building self-esteem. Self-esteem is the value of a person's worth, and there are a lot of factors that come into play, especially in helping a person feel more confident about himself, which is also a primary factor in establishing a person's outlook towards personal inspiration and feeling as a success. On the spiritual ascension pathway, recognizing the importance of character building as a necessary part of having self-love and self-acceptance is critical to progress through self-deception blocks. When we have low self-esteem, our psychological defense mechanisms will act to block our progress moving forward and evolving in life. One who understands they are a loved and worthy spiritual vessel for the Spirit of God's source will begin to learn that self-love is at the core of self-acceptance, which is the quality one must build to truly feel and experience God's love for all of us. Once we feel love for ourselves, we build inner confidence, which further builds our trust with life.
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So once you start building that, you start building these different characteristic traits inside oneself. Now, you're going to have different variations of defense mechanisms. You're going to have different variations of, defending the ego, the pride, building self-awareness, so on and so forth. This comes with your discernment. Not everything is going to be, that of what you think it is. You have to build this personal Christ with inside yourself. You have to build it with inside yourself. So you have to build this personal Christ, you know, and that comes with not trying to please the world. That comes with building your relationship with God, or God as you know it, or whatever you want to call it, right? You have to build that. And that comes with self building. Ain't nobody out here in the world going to tell you the God of you. They can't. So they can't tell you who it is that you have to journey with inside yourself. It says, he who is inside of you is greater than he who is in the world. So you have to journey with inside yourself.
From the Guardian perspective, the personal Christ is defined as the entirety of the personal Christos identities reunited throughout the simultaneous 12 planetary time cycles in the triune of universes. Thus, the term Christ or Christos used in this context is not denoting the individual being referred to as Jesus Christ, as taught through the world religions. Christos extends way beyond all meaning associated with planetary consciousness and actually describes the state of eternal cosmic consciousness, the title given to a free cosmic citizen. 1. The word Christ has been distorted in its use on the earth plane intentionally from being integrated into secret societies and violent religions manufactured by the NAA to create harm in the human race. We endeavor to use the word Christ, Christos Sophia, crystal, Christ, and Christalla interchangeably to return the real meaning and use of these words to denote the consciousness principles of the law of one, the cosmic structure of creation as they are intended by the eternal God Source. There are 12 astrological precessions in the universal scale of time, each with 144 personal Christos identities. Returning back to the 12th astrological precession, we return to the founder cosmic cube matrix, to reclaim all of our identities throughout the time cycles. During the ascension process, we undergo the process of reintegration and uniting all of our identities throughout these simultaneous time cycles, and this collective identity connected to the Godhead is referred to as our personal Christ. The personal Christ identity is reintegrated and embodied within the Christalla Eternal Light Buddy template, in which was reclaimed on planet Earth in the cycle of morphogenesis, or rise of Paleodorians that began in 2018. Connecting directly with God and Christ. When we connect directly with God, the most important thing for us to understand, especially on the path of anchoring foundational stabilization and heart-based coherence, is to recognize ourselves as part and parcel of God consciousness without any intermediary identity. What that means is when you directly connect with God or Christ, know that Christ is the physicalization of God. Christ is not only the figure of Jesus the Christ embodying perfect peace, Christ the cosmic Christos is a God-sovereign free cosmic citizen, and this potential is the ultimate destiny and ascension path for all of us, too.
So, this takes place with all of us, this takes place with all of us. This growth, however you want to look at it, uh, we literally have to find that inner Christ. We have to find that, God consciousness within inside of us. A lot of people keep on trying to stop you from yourself, like growing with inside yourself, understanding all of this stuff. But all I want to do and all we want to do over here, is help you understand all of this stuff. Like, so that way you can understand spiritually how to grow. You know, I thought when I started learning this stuff, I thought it was great. I was like, what? I just got to keep on being nice, being good no matter what. Keep on being kind, keep on being loving no matter what. I just got to choose happiness. I got to choose to smile no matter what. See, people bring you their problems. People bring you their fears. People bring you their, worries in this world. And say, that's why people say, man, I feel so comfortable talking to you. You know what I mean? Uh, all of that, you know? I want to tell you They will tell you negative stuff. They're gonna bring you that shit like it was yours. All their fears, put their worries and doubts right on your shoulders.
The inner Christos is the personal divine blueprint of the eternal God source consciousness energy from which all things are manifest and made into being. The law of one is the law governing the eternal divine blueprint and consciousness energy of the inner Christos, thus they are interchangeable. To develop the inner Christos eternal blueprint, we must align and follow the principles of the natural laws, the law of one. The law of one is based in the true knowing of our highest expression, that our direct relationship with God's source is love, and this pure consciousness is expressed through our inner Christos or living God spirit. The ancient knowledge of the inner Christos that resides within our original divine blueprint belongs to all people, regardless of their religious affiliation or belief system. This ancient spiritual wisdom of the philosophies of the law of one was common knowledge to all of humanity until the Luciferian rebellion. This is when the planet was returned back to the Dark Ages at the end of the Atlantean Cataclysm, when all of the original spiritual teachings of the inner Christos were eliminated and falsified. 4.
Did you hear? The Atlantic Cataclysm, when all the original spiritual teachers of the inner Christos was eliminated and falsified. See, all of the teachers of this have been eliminated, and then they put a false person out there, right? And this has been going on forever. Look into the real history behind St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day wasn't a group of people that got rid of serpents. They got rid of the people who taught about the Kundalini and the serpent. That's why anyone who still celebrated the first of the year around April 1st was considered to be a fool. That's why it was April Fool's Day, right? So they eliminated us, the ones who was getting enlightenment from the universe, knowledge from the universe, the ones who was getting information coming in from the sun, right? They eliminated us down here, or put falsitries out there. So then once they realize, okay, we got to stop, unaliving them, we can't unalive them no more, blah, 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 blah. That's when they started trapping us, right? Putting us in prison, so on and so forth. And then they put these false lights out there, right? And then the jujitsuites. This is where the assassination of people's character came in. So they would assassinate your character, put a false image on you, make people look at you as negative or bad, and then they'll falsify their self and be the image of your enlightenment, your knowledge, your wisdom, your love, right? This is what they target light beings. The inner Christos, they eliminate us. We're not just down here in vessels, living all willy-nilly down here. No, they're making it hard for us to build with other people. They're making it hard for us to connect with people. They're making it hard for us to journey down here and put together, love, unity, compassion. They're making it hard. Grand Rising, Namaste, Ashe, salutation, salam, peace, love, and light to everybody. Listen, we need all hands on deck. I'm going to start bringing more and more of this. I feel like it's time that we start pushing the page out. I feel like it's time that we find like some co-hosts, put a panel together, maybe start a podcast, maybe, buy a vehicle. Like I said, let's put together a moving podcast. Let's buy a bus, let's put together this. Let's do it. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all, to make y'all get on board. There's going to be a lot of rewards, but I can't tell you about the rewards because then you're going to do it for just the rewards, right? I just got to get those who are willing. I need those who are willing to invest, those who are willing to want to change the operation down here, give us back a certain level of consciousness down here. that is a higher vibrational frequency.
The structure of our
Somebody
world,
go take
the
out a
architecture of
$50,000
creation, is in the
loan and
pattern
let's
of our
go
consciousness.
create a community, you know, and put together a little small school. All you need is a building for schools nowadays. You know, people want to go act like they spending a lot of money building a school somewhere. All you need is a couple of buildings, couple of trailers, and you could build a school. You know,
Consciousness that is an energy waveform that is having this experience in matter. This happens via a hidden blueprint that is not visibly seen, yet is being expressed through a holographic template. There are natural laws governing the substance of all consciousness structures, and there is intelligent energy, order, and organization in the way that the universe is built as a time matrix for consciousness evolution, as well as a spiritual blueprint for instructing human bodies and all living things. The holographic template in which matter comes into manifestation is in standing waves, which hold a fixed point in a grid with specific mathematical and geometric relationships that act as the instruction set for energy waveforms to flash on and off in frequency patterns. The framework of manifested creation in our universe starts from within the eternal God source or the center point of all union, by vibrationally down-stepping through itself, contracting the consciousness into a singular point of focus which forms a creational intention. All of creation, from the unmanifest to manifest forms emerge from the consciousness energy of the eternal God source, and ultimately all of these consciousness forms will return back into the center point of all union, reuniting with the All One. Thus, the eternal consciousness of the God source resides within and around all of us. Each living being is the original manifestation of the intelligent consciousness units that exist in the entire body of the God source or All One. The intelligent consciousness units or the living God spirit that is alive in all things is called the inner Christos, which is built upon the universal natural laws. We can come to understand this through the reverence for all of life, and through philosophies that are described in the Law of One. 3.
so when you start building this internal light, this internal God, when you start feeding your light body, right, you're going to start coming with the level of unconditional love. You're going to start coming with the level of compassion, a level of kindness. A lot of people is going to be drawn to you for this. A lot of people are going to come, yeah, no more riding the fence. A lot of people are going to be drawn to you for this. A lot of people are going to come to you for this because they're going to want to take advantage of this. They're going to think you to be weak. They're going to try to take advantage of you, feelings and emotion wise. You're going to see different variations of cohortions of the heart. That's what you've seen with the whole car situation with she paint. You have those like the knot who tries to tear your page down so you're forced to come over to their page or bend to their will, right? So you see these different personas and their levels of actions, you know what I mean? Act like they build you, act like they had everything to do with how you are, take credit for what is you so you won't get credit for it. When we started pointing out different variations of, manipulation with Murph, with Jaguar, Big Homie CC, Ronnie Bo, all of these different characters, you see other creators taking the credit of that, right? We didn't come over here for that, right? We came over here to prove this exists in the world, in people. We came over here to show that this is how people respond to knowledge, wisdom, understanding, right? This is how they respond to it. They're not accepting of this. It's not people out there like, man, I like, how you put stuff, this, that, and the third. You know what they do? Automatically go to envy, jealousy. Who do he think he is? He think he knows so much, blah, 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 blah. That's what they go to, And that's all we wanted to do was come and point out, look, people are not gathering around love. We came over here with love is love just to show y'all the people that will come against love is love. That's all. We wanted to see, you know what? If we just have a love campaign, who's going to come against it? Let's see who comes against love. And you've seen it. You've seen it. We stepped in front of people. We stood up for people over here, all of that great stuff. And we still kept on doing what was right, no matter how people try to look at us, no matter how people try to paint us. Yeah, we got deflected trying to defend ourselves in madness that we shouldn't have had to defend ourselves because all the evidence was right there, right? And still, these personas, why? Because they are manipulating people. They're manipulating people. So when they see someone coming along that's trying to teach people how to like notice the manipulation and not fall for it, they're like, oh, hell nah. We got to get him up out of here. Right? So all of them did their little get him up out of here rituals, how they thought they can get me up out of here. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, down here, you see the people who, you know, are against spiritual growth. It's considered to be spiritual betrayal. These are the Judases of society. You know what I mean?
In order to assault the human heart and intend to generate broken hearts and a lack of trust in all human beings on the earth, the NAA have leveraged the spirit of betrayal as one of their most important tools for waging psycho-emotional warfare. Betrayal is a seed fear that is genetically rooted in the feminine principle from the traumatic experiences of the Lemurian Holocaust, and further into the galactic plane from the Lyran Wars. These tragic events established that particular fear pattern of betrayal in the cellular memory of the planetary energy matrix body and consequently, in the collective race memory. These distorted fear patterns were then recorded in the various layers of the energy field's collective unconscious memory, leaving a permanent imprint on the many individual layers of consciousness that had participated in that original timeline event. The traumatic records of those Holocaust events from other timelines have been erased from our conscious mind, yet are recorded in the energy matrix and cells of every living thing.
See? So we're trying to heal, but you have these dark knights out here that's, acting like they're doing stuff in the name of this or in the name of that and da 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 da, but they're really like perpetrating what is supposed to be true, what is supposed to be, how you go about this, you know what I mean? So you see a lot of people crashing out. You see all these people, what we now call crash outs, you know what I mean? This is like they're going through ego shifts and they're building like stronger on the houses of ego. So they become
There are
like,
four main
it's
types
a
of
godlike
spiritual crises
complex
or
or
down cycle events in
narcissistic, whatever you
metamorphosis
want to
that need
call
to
it.
be clearly understood to prevent unnecessary suffering and secondary backlash. Lightning. This is a terror event of intense energy pouring up and into the body similar to a euphoric inner conjunction of spiritual activation, but in this case it is an inner conjunction of feeling great discomfort, anxiety, pain, or fear. Here we descend deeply into our matter and flesh and experience inner fears or energy blockages, or experience external anxiety with no apparent cause. We may be accessing buried parts of our unconscious mind or cellular memories that are embedded in our bodies. This negative inner conjunction mostly occurs during one's first initial awakening stages, which can help to surface hidden fears or pain located in the pain body. This terror or fear is the polar opposite to the spontaneous bliss awakening in a neophyte body at the early soul initiations for those that are unfamiliar with such intensity of expanding consciousness and energy. Shock, white death, or autonomic shock in the CNS that occurs immediately after a mystical or ecstatic experience with Kundalini spiritual activation. That is the contraction and toxic overload after a significant opening to the extreme bliss of a euphoric inner conjunction event or a spiritual initiation stage into a higher frequency or level of the light body. Sometimes in this stage a person can feel numb, apathetic, or in a void. Self-digestion. Then there are the die-offs of toxins or waste, which are a catabolic breakdown of the former structures through apoptosis due to oxidation by free radicals and then phagocytosis, 2, by the macrophages, 3. This is a physical event and a spiritual energetic event. Thus, one can experience.
Now, y'all, listen, a lot of that stuff is like, you might not know what it's talking about, right? But I'm telling you, man, great things is happening, man. Knowledge and wisdom rules the air, man. Be a part of it. Be a part of the love. Be a part of the light. you know, join the Discord. You know what I mean? Join the Discord. You know.
The party's going on in the Discord. You can never be
Some coffee.
bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. We got music, we got art. Love is love, sets us apart. It's a virtual town, so inviting. You know they want you around, it's exciting. Oh, the party's going on in the Discord. Ooh, you can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. Story time, movie nights, we get messy and watch the fights. It's a virtual town and it's glowing. Very busy with the love we've been showing. Oh, the party's going on in the Discord. Ooh, you can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. 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 The party's going on in the Discord. You can never be bored in the Discord. When we're not here, we're over there, socializing and sharing. So I better see you in the Discord. In the Discord. In the Discord. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you're for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. Thought I was living life, then I met you. Feelings cut like a knife, could not forget you. Everything that I thought I knew was wrong. Who'd have known I missed out on love for so long? In that moment, it was crystal clear. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. I thought I had everything, I had the perfect plans, balancing total peace and all of life's demands. Never knew that I planned for a life so fake. Thank God that now I'm wide awake. In this moment, it's crystal clear. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. 'Cause I'm for you, and you for me too. Yes, I need you, and you need me too. You must be heaven sent. everything so real. With you I'm excited and I am reminded heaven's more than how you feel. If heaven is in your mind, you must be heaven sent. If heaven is a bind, you must be heaven sent. Cause I'm for you and you're for me too.
Technically, it's a new Discord that we're rebuilding because we had so many people infiltrate the other Discord. So it's a new Discord that we're rebuilding. We still got the old Discord as, you know, the evidence, because we need that evidence that's in there, you know, for the people who, still, still want the bullshit, so we got to have that other Discord just in case we have to go back into the petty pocket, sometimes you got to have that just in case we might want to get petty, you know what I mean? This is the new Discord because we trying to build around enlightenment, there's, gaming, there's a lot of different stuff, you know what I mean?
You spy and lie, you boast, always gotta do the most behind my back.
We gotta show that we're multi-dimensional beings.
You switch right up, you don't remember all of that. Showing off like you're in a pageant, bragging on about your status. Little do they know there's a real dark method to your madness. All the hate you brew inside, tragic. From a monster to the victim, play the role so well, dramatic. Is that it? Moving on, now it's time for me to work, wave my magic wand. You're no match for me or the power of my tongue. Let me show you how it's done. I can too terrorize you for fun. Demon be gone. You're a narcissist, can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas and now they won't let you go. You're a narcissist, a reaction is your aim. I'll just give you nothing, watch you lose at your own game. You're a narcissist, it's always your way, it's your lane. Doesn't matter what I try to say, decline. You want what's mine, try to bring me down, try to take me out.
Alright, we're gonna go play the game a little bit and then probably bring back another live later. I gotta check on some stuff. Love is love, namaste, I stay salutations, shalom. Remember, one image of oneself should be greater than reality, okay?
Gotta let shit flow, gotta let shit go. Can't dwell on it your whole life. Get back, I don't want your
nobody
static.
told you that they
Nothing
love
but a
you.
drama
That's your
addict.
first and
Those
that's the last
repeated
to tell you.
cycles.
We love
I
you.
have studied all your habits,
Okay?
but the
That's
way
what you
you
here to
stare
know.
at me, you savage.
What we want you to know over here.
Try to pawn your pain
love
on me, return to sender with that package and trash it. Moving on, now it's time for me to work, wave my magic wand. No more dragging me through the dirt, teach you right from wrong, run you like a marathon. Once that truth turns to karma, you're done. Demon be gone. You're a narcissist, can't hide it when it shows. Tied down by your traumas and now they won't let you go.